And Prince George Peace River, Northern Rockies Conservative MP Bob Zimmer wants a gun owner reprieve. Rules right now state gun owners have to renew their possession and acquisition license every 5 years, and Zimmer wants that changed to 10, and for there to be no criminal record for someone who fails to renew on time. His private member's bill was introduced to the House of Parliament last week, and I've reached him on the line. And a good morning to you.
Hello.
Hey there. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good to be here this morning.
Now, so we'll start first. Why do you want to see changes here for gun owners who fail to renew their licenses on time?
Yeah, the best comparison I can relate to is for firearms owners, just by possessing a legally acquired firearm. If that license expires, then they're immediately criminals. And the comparison that most people make, the one that stands out is when you're an automobile owner, when your license expires to drive your automobile, you don't become a criminal just by it sitting in the driveway. So that's what we're trying to do, is the ones that more accidentally don't renew their licenses, that they aren't criminalized by that inaction.
And do we actually see people actually being convicted for holding onto their guns and not renewing in time? Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I've heard stories of that, and literally the one story that I was told was 8 days after the person's license had expired, there was literally somebody banging down their door looking for their firearms. So
no kidding.
Certainly it doesn't happen by the thousands across the country, but I've heard enough stories that it's a concern.
Now, 5 years, some might say, oh, well, that should be long enough to renew. I mean, why should that be extended? I mean, what are the circumstances in which someone might not renew their license in time?
Yeah, well, it's I call this person Grandpa Joe. It's a person that's owned firearms. He's maybe a farmer on the farm that he got his license. They went through the process. He was trained, so he's a safe operator and possessor of a firearm, and is just neglected, forgot about it. And I don't want that kind of Grandpa Joe to become a criminal just because he happened to forget something. And he certainly isn't less qualified. He's still just as qualified as he was before. And we're certainly not saying not to have licensing for firearms. It's people that have acquired the firearms legally before and formerly possessed a possession and acquisition license. And we're just, in my bill, what I want to do is recognize that, and so they won't become criminals.
Right. So why do you think? Why were these restrictions, I suppose, put in place? So what was the purpose behind it?
Well, I think with any license, what's desired is there's an update of information is the goal. So every 5 years, people age, they start to wear glasses and they have gray hair and things change. So and they move. So what the goal behind that original 5 years, I believe, is just to have information updated. In my provision of my firearms bill is to have that information, a mandatory update every 10 years. I just think it's sufficient enough to get what they need. And to be quite accurate, to the RCMP update the information, check the information on a regular basis. So it's updated regularly anyway, so the 10 years is really just to put a provision in there to make sure that people update their information.
Okay. And I mean, in your region, in our region, we have lots of farmers, ranchers, gun owners. What are they saying to you about gun laws as they stand in Canada?
Yeah, I think what I've heard is I'm a firearms owner myself, and all we want to do is be recognized as we're legal, law-abiding citizens that want to have our firearms within the law and not do anything other than that. And you'll find some of the most law-abiding individuals are firearms owners, and because the process, honestly, to have a firearm is quite arduous. You have to be licensed, and then you have to get your ATT, make sure it's all, your ducks are in a row. And if you're into restricted firearms, there's even more protocol there to operate within the law. So I think all we want to do as firearms owners is to be recognized that we're law-abiding citizens, that we're not scary people, and that we want to be able to operate firearms safely in Canada.
And why do you think people, when you say having to put that out there, that we're not scary people, why do you think why you have to even say that, I guess?
Yeah, I think for some people, firearms are just something that they're not familiar with. So, something that they're not familiar with, it's an unknown to them and maybe a fearful thing. Right. We do. I'm the co-chair of the Parliamentary Outdoor Caucus, and a regular event that we host on the not on the Hill, but just about half an hour out of Ottawa, is a day at the range where we have MPs from all parties that come out. We don't post the names because we want to introduce people that haven't held a firearm or even operated a firearm to do that. And there's a lot of smiles, and it's a lot of fun. It's very safe, and that's the goal, is just to make firearms a little less fearful to some individuals.
I guess if this idea of renewing possession and acquisition license every 10 years, I mean, if that's been put forward and it seems to make sense for gun owners, what's stalling this then? Why have we not seen this change change?
Yeah, well, nothing's stalling it yet. It just was tabled last week. So.
Okay.
It's Bill C-346, so there's quite a process to write it by the time it comes into being tabled. So now it's in process. So now that it's tabled, there'll be a first reading, second reading, et cetera, if it passes votes. It has to be voted after first reading in the House, so I'm hoping I'll get some Liberal support across the way.
I was going to ask you, how hopeful are you seeing this passed? Do you think
I am.
Sense?
Yeah, no, I am, because, again, I'm the co-chair of the Parliamentary Caucus, and the other co-chair is a Liberal. And there's a lot of Liberal ridings, too, that are rural, that have firearms owners and have hunters and fishers and farmers. So I hope it's a sound enough bill that I'll see some support from the other side.
And what do you believe is at risk if no changes are made?
Well, I think I want to see it where, again, firearms owners are decriminalized, I guess. Like, legal firearms owners aren't treated just by owning a firearm, you're somehow a bad individual. And I've called them in my talking points. Firearms owners don't need to be treated like outlaws in Canada. And I guess I just would like them to be treated a bit more with respect. And, we're law-abiding individuals, and we should be treated that way.
Well, we will continue to follow this and see what comes of it. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Bob.
Thanks for the opportunity.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bob Zimmer, MP for the Prince George Peace River Northern Rockies, and we reached him on the line. And what do you make of the idea of making this change? You can email us, daybreaknorth@cbc.ca. Call our listener line, 1-866-340-1932, or you can find us on Facebook and Twitter @DaybreakNorth.